before kickoff. But now we fast forward, and for the second time in 13 days, Bill Parcells leads the Dallas Cowboys onto the Meadowlands turf to face one of his former teams. And that team is the New York Jets, who today will boast 10 of starters from the Bill Parcells era. Yes, it's another homecoming for the coach they call the Tuna. And today on Fox, it's the Dallas Cowboys taking on the New York Jets. And welcome to the Meadowlands, everybody. I'm Dick Stockton, along with Daryl Moose Johnston and Chris Myers with us as well. And the Cowboys are trying to catch lightning in a bottle. And who will forget that great win Monday night 13 days ago when they beat the Giants? They've had a bye week since then, Daryl, but they've opened up a lot of eyes with that victory against New York. They sure did, and I think Bill Parcells' biggest challenge after 3 consecutive 5-11 seasons was changing the attitude of the Dallas Cowboy football team. And these players have embraced his passion for the game, and the events at the Giants game at the end of that football game, I think, evidenced that. He's also been pleasantly surprised by the explosive playmaking of his wide receivers, but their success will all hinge on the performance of Quincy Carter. He's coming off statistically his best performance as a professional, but consistency has always been a problem in his short career. Darryl, meanwhile, the New York Jets are in dire straits at 0-3, and you know they lost their quarterback Chad Pennington due to injury. They lost several other important players due to free agency. And this week, their owner, Woody Johnson, had some comments that got under the skin of head coach Herman Edwards. So where does this team go from here? Well, a football team is always going to face adversity at some point during the season. But when that frustration starts to move up the chain of command, it becomes a dangerous situation. And you don't like to use the phrase a must-win game in the month of September, but that's right where the New York Jets find themselves today. If they lose today and go into their bye week at 0-4, it could be a point that they can't recover from. To combat that, Herman Edwards is guaranteed he's going to commit to the run and get Curtis Martin more involved in this football team. All right, Daryl, and we'd like our viewers to remember to answer today's Sprint Virtual Coach question. Use your PCS Vision from Sprint or log on to foxsports.com. And our question is, should Maurice Clarett be allowed in the NFL? And before the opening kickoff, let's go down to Chris Myers. Chris.
Well, Dick, when Parcells first walked out on the field, most of the Jet fans cheered. There were a few that said, Tuna, you're a sellout. Of his former players, you talked about Kevin Mawai, one of the first and few to go over and say hello before the game. Curtis Martin said, I'll say nothing before or during, but I hope to have a lot to say to Parcells after the game.
Chris, another dramatic return, and it's ironic that Bill Parcells coming back to New York in 2 of his first 3 games as head coach of his latest team, the Dallas Cowboys. Meanwhile, the New York Jets have won the toss, and they will receive. Toby Goen gets the game underway for the Cowboys, and Michael Bates returning for the New York Jets. And Bates breaks one to the outside, and Michael Bates, with his best return, gives the Jets great field position. And right now, for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, much of your audience was watching the Philadelphia-Buffalo game. Here is how it is winding up. Take a look at Brian Westbrook. He takes the handoff and takes it 62 yards to pay dirt. Philadelphia now angling for its first victory of the season, ahead comfortably 23-13, 2:10 left. Back to Dick Stockton.
Talk about must-wins, Moose. That was one for the Eagles as they lead by 10. So following the 38-yard kickoff return, as advertised, in fact, they sent a memo around the league that they were going to run Curtis Martin into the line, and he picks up 2 yards on first down. Vinny Testaverde passing the great Johnny Unitas on the all-time passing yardage list, is the quarterback, just about a month short of his 40th birthday. Second down and 8. Santana Moss is the 3rd wide receiver. And Richie Anderson, the fullback, was lining up in the slot. Now he goes behind the line, and the pass off the hands of the fullback Gerald Sowell downfield. And that will bring up 3rd down and long for the Jets. So Testaverde leading the Jets, and he was the starter last year before replaced by Chad Pennington, who was out with a injury, a broken bone to his left wrist. And there is Pennington. 3rd down and 8 on the Jet 47-yard line, the first possession of the game. Testaverde rolling out, trying to buy time, and he does. Then the pass is caught for the first down at the 43 by Wayne Corbett. Sure-handed Wayne Corbett, who last week stepped out of bounds and came back and cost the Jets, gets 10 yards and a first down.
One of the big concerns for the New York Jets is to keep Vinny Testaverde protected all afternoon. They combat that by rolling him out, moving the pocket, and look at the job Wayne Corbett does working the sideline. He made the mistake last weekend. He's not going to make it again this weekend.
The New York Jets, as you see the end of that great catch by Corbett, have scored only one offensive touchdown in each of the first 3 games. They're in Cowboy territory at the 43, and the fake end around, and here's Curtis Martin bursting straight ahead, and he picks up 5 yards before he is tackled by the middle linebacker, Dat Wynn. Let's take a look now at the rest of the Jets offense. And Kevin Mawai was question marked with a strained knee suffered in practice on Thursday. As you look at the Jet offensive line and the backs and receivers, Curtis Martin should get a heavy load today. Wayne Corbett and Curtis Conway, the starting wide receivers. 2nd down and 5. The Jets have moved inside the Cowboy 40 on their first possession. And again they run it, and Curtis Martin straight ahead gets the first down. They do as advertised here, and an 8-yard pickup right ahead.
Pre-game today. This is very unusual. You can sense how important this game is to the team. They know that their season is hanging in the balance. Kevin Mawai doing everything he possibly can to get emotional responses from his players.
Hey, if everyone knows Martin's going to run, how come the Cowboys aren't primed to stop him here?
You know, I don't know, because that's the strength of their defense right now. They're 6th in the NFL versus the run. That's the problem that Paul Hackett faces. He's going to be tempted to throw the ball, the weakness of this Cowboy defense.
But he keeps it on the ground here, and finally the Cowboys close it up, and a loss of 1 on the play thanks to Dexter Coakley. As you take a look at the defensive unit for the Dallas Cowboys, it's an undersized unit. Leroy Glover, the Pro Bowler, and Coakley, who just made the last tackle. Dat Wynn and Al Singleton, who returned a pass for a touchdown against the Giants in week number 2. Darren Woodson, the Pro Bowler, and the rookie Terrence Newman are either end of the scales for the Jets. Lamont Jordan is in at running back, and 2nd down and 11. The pass caught, and the Jets may have another first down. Curtis Conway making the reception, and a 9-yard pickup. They spotted at the 21-yard line, and it will be another Jet first down.
And this is the area that the Jets have struggled at all year. We're looking at the 2 worst teams in the NFL when you get into the red zone. The only team worse than the Jets are the Cowboys, and they're going about it in different ways. The Jets feel they're unbalanced, relying too much on the pass. The Cowboys are fairly balanced, but they're just not getting any production out. So to get the points on the board, this is the area that Herman Edwards, along with running, concentrated on during the week.
And they're mixing their plays well on this first series. Here's the pitch to Martin with sole blocking, and Curtis Martin driving to about the 16-yard line, picking up 5 with Al Singleton. And this is what you're talking about, the Jets' struggles in the red zone.
And the one thing that they look at is they've thrown 13 passes and only had 7 runs in that area. When you talk to a lot of people around the NFL, everybody says you have to run the ball effectively when you get into the red.
Throw it again. I think they're going to run it maybe to Dominic Davis, because these throws have not worked. This is it. The Texans either win it or lose it. Carr is over the top, and he's in, and the Texans win.
Carried the ball no more than 15 times in any one of the 3 previous games.
And this is a Jet football team that only has 50 rushes for the entire season. And you saw last week, Ricky Williams had 42 in 1 game. That's what people say when they're talking about a commitment to the run. You can't get away from it when you have a bad play for no gain or negative yardage. You've got to stick with it all afternoon.
Herman Edwards trying to get his team back in the mix with a victory today before the bye week. 3rd and 4 from the 15. And they'll keep it on the ground to Martin, and he's not going to go anywhere. And no gain on the play. Might have lost a yard. Dale Roy Stewart making the tackle. So 4th down coming up, and Doug Bryan will come on to try to give the Jets the early lead.
Well, Curtis Martin likes to run on the edge, and one of the things that the Dallas Cowboy defense is very good at is protecting the edges of their defense. They're an undersized, fast team. To have success in the running game against the Cowboy front, you got to run between the tackles.
This will be a 34-yard attempt. Bryant, only one miss in 7 tries thus far. And Bryant's kick, it's good. Pretty good job of ball control on the first possession of the game. Doug Bryant with the field goal, giving the Jets a 3-0 lead. Well, next week it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader beginning
Against the Buffalo Bills late in that football game in a similar situation that the New York Jets find themselves in. They're 0-2 going on the road to Buffalo, a very good football team. Looks like the Philadelphia Eagles may win that very crucial game in the month of September.
And of course the Redskins coming back with a win over tough New England and going to 3-1 on the season. The Giants getting a bye this week, have a 2-1 record, and they're back in action next week against Miami. So the Jets in front 3-0, and remember, with all of their problems, they were 1-4 last year and even 2-5 and came back and made the playoffs, but they made the switch over to Chad Pennington. A lot of people think talent-wise, this team may not be quite as good as last year's. Who knows?
Yeah, you were able to put Chad Pennington in and create a spark. And one of the things that Herman Edwards has talked about is he has really missed the emotion that Chad Pennington brings to not only the position, but to his whole football team.
Doug Bryant with a short kickoff, and on the run, returning it is the rookie Zuriel Smith. And Zuriel Smith is dragged down at about the 30-yard line by Jamie Henderson. Good tackle, otherwise Smith might have gotten a more chunk of yardage. He returned it 17 yards in any event. So here's Quincy Carter, who had a career high in passing yards last week, and right now a very confident young man leading the Cowboys offense. He'll start from the 30-yard line after their outstanding return by Smith. Galloway in motion, the handoff to Troy Hambrook going up the middle and picks up a couple on first down.
Troy Hambick and Quincy Carter both have benefited from Bill Parcells being there. They're becoming more professional in their approach to the game.
Let's take a look at the rest of the Dallas Cowboys offense, and there is the offensive line. And Matt Lair is going to alternate with Gennaro DiNapoli at center. Kurt Bowler starting in place of Ryan Young. Let's see if Ryan Young gets in there. And Terry Glenn with a big game against the Giants 13 days ago. 2nd down and 6 from the 34, and the handoff to Richie Anderson. And Richie Anderson is a tremendous role model for the Cowboys, as he was for Bill Parcells and the Jets, picking up 12.
One of the things that going to a 3 wide receiver set does is it splits out the defensive front. It creates more running lanes, and it gives the offensive line and backs a better angle. You see 42 Troy Hambrick there, a good lead block. Larry Allen finishing his guy. And they talked about Richie Anderson becoming more of a weapon in their running game this afternoon.
Hey, here's one coach that likes using the fullback.
That's because he's got a fullback as his offensive coordinator.
Good point. First down on the 46. And the handoff is to Troy Hambrook, and Hambrook getting close to midfield, picking up 3. And right now for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, an error-free game by the Washington Redskins helped them to their 6th straight win over New England, 2017, and first place sole possession in the NFC East. And Houston comes back from behind to up in Jacksonville on a crucial mistake by rookie Byron Leftwich. Houston wins it 24-20 back to Dick Stockton.
All right, JB, thank you very much. So the Texans win their 2nd game of the year, and on 2nd and 7, play action for Carter, has a lot of time, and the pass is incomplete. Too short for Joey Galloway, who found the seam in the jet zone.
And one of the things that the Cowboys are going to try and do is stay in positions where the play call can be play action. You're going to see the fake on the running play here to Troy Hambrick. Quincy Carter is going to roll out. He's going to throw this ball all the way back across the field. He's got Joey Galloway wide open between the levels. And that is the consistency that everybody talks about with Quincy Carter. He's coming off almost an error-free performance against the Giants. He has to take advantage when he's got the potential to make big plays early in the game.
3rd down and 7 at the 49-yard line, and this time Hambrick going in motion, and Carter throwing the ball out of play. and never really had a chance as Terry Glenn was well covered on the right sideline. Fourth down coming up, and the Cowboys will punt it away.
And that's the management of the quarterback position that Bill Parcells talks about. There was no reason for Quincy to try and thread that ball in there. The only thing that can happen is a big play for the Jets defense. He threw it away out of the sideline. Punt the ball, go back out and play defense.
Toby going will punt from the 35, and there is Santana Moss. He is the speedster that the Jets are really counting on to make people forget about Lavernius Coles. It's going to take a lot for people to forget about Coles, and the fair catch by Moss at the 16. Jets leading 3-0 and coming out for their second possession. Open the scoring with Doug Bryan's 34-yard field goal. And we want to welcome those of you who saw the Eagles finally win their first game, beating Buffalo on the road. No mean feat, 23-13. Dick Stockton along with Darrell Johnston and Chris Myers. It's a back-to-the-wall game, yes, this early in the season for the Jets, coming in 0-3 and leading the Dallas Cowboys. Jets will begin from the 16. Testaverde on the slant, and the pass knocked away from Curtis Conway, and a good defensive play by rookie Terrence Newman.
I think Terrence Newman might have got away with one right there. It looks like he does a little hook pull on Curtis Conway. Curtis was sitting on the ground looking for the flag. We'll see if he gets there.
Oh.
He got there early, and he let a little bit of a hook on his shoulder. So
you name your hand, left hand or right hand. He got him with both.
He knows it. He saw the big grin.
Second down and 10, and the Jets going behind Testaverde, and they spread it out, and then they shift Curtis Martin behind, and he changes direction, and Curtis Martin hit hard at the 22-yard line and gets out to the 24 by Roy Williams. An 8-yard pickup, and Bill Parcells targeting Roy Williams as a guy who he thinks has to raise his level of play.
Oh boy, he put his shoulder pad right on Curtis Martin's right knee. You get into the secondary against the Dallas Cowboys, and your work is not over. You've got Roy Williams and Darren Woodson, two of the most physical safeties in the league. Roy Williams is on the verge of moving down in the linebacker level. He is a big, big safety.
And that's why Bill Parcells knows how good he is. That's why he's on him more. 3rd and 2 from the 24. And here is Curtis Martin trying to go outside, and it's Martin getting the first down. What a frisky running back, and he was down by contact at the 30-yard line as Martin picks up 6 yards. Far different game for Martin than the first 3 of the season.
Watch your center. Kevin Mawai is one of the few guys in the league that can pull and get out in front of the running back on plays on the perimeter, and then he gets a heck of a block on Terrence Newman there. They're doing a good job right now running on the perimeter, which was a concern for this team going in, because that's where Curtis likes to run, and if you're going to get him involved, you've got to go right at the teeth of that Dallas defense.
Curtis Martin's already carried 9 times. Almost matching his season's high as Testaverde straight back on 1st and 10. And there is Wayne Corbett with the catch into Cowboy territory at the 48-yard line. Wayne Corbett picking up 22 before Mario Edwards makes the tackle.
The Dallas Cowboys have got to find a way to get pressure on Vinny Testaverde, because they have got young players at key positions in the secondary. Mario Edwards a little bit late getting over to cover Wayne Corbett. If you give Vinny that much time, he is too good. He's seen everything during the tenure of his career. He'll find the open receiver.
Tell you, Paul Hackett is calling a good game thus far. He's not going one way or the other, and it's pretty balanced. Lamar Jordan gives Curtis Martin a breather. First down on the 48, and they again give it to Jordan on the fake end around, and he stumbles forward for a gain of 1.
Well, you saw Kevin Mawai trying to get the team pumped up. That's because they have put themselves in position to win football games. Wayne Corbett steps on the line there, nullifies the touchdown. Curtis Conway here, an opportunity to make a big play, drops a touchdown catch, and then Sam Garnes plays a trick play perfectly. Can't make that interception. The next play, they get pass interference on the end zone and a touchdown. So they're right there, but they just need somebody to step up and make that critical play.
Called execution, and that's what the Jets have lacked. 2nd down and 9. Martin back in there and almost runs into Mawai on his way up the middle, and will lose a yard. And good penetration by Dale Roy Stewart. This is an undersized line that the Cowboys have, and their main problem, Moose, has been tiring out towards the end of games. That's been the case in the first two.
Well, a lot of people are looking at it because they're an undersized front, but the Dallas Cowboy defense was one of the first to really make that rotation of the defensive line real popular. They don't have the depth to do that, so these guys are tiring out in the fourth quarter. They can't generate any pressure, and those young corners are having to cover guys for too long.
Looked like an audible call by Vinny on 3rd down and 10. He has time. Tough pass to convert. Conway was the intended receiver, but a sea of white jerseys in the neighborhood. 4th down coming up, and the Jets will have to give it up.
Well, you had an opportunity there for a run play. They split everybody out. Look, there's hardly anybody in here from the Dallas defense. They've only got 5 guys between tight end and tackle. That's a great opportunity to slip Curtis Martin into that front. You talked about the audible. I think he moved into a pass play. Those are the opportunities there to get him established and to get him in that rhythm.
So Dan Straczynski will kick it away, and Zuriel Smith, the impressive rookie who's chosen on the 6th round out of Hampton, back to return. They're going to let this one bounce, and let's see if Richie Anderson saved it for the Jets. Michael Bates downfield. It was Bates who saves it, and he does it to 1. Great play by Michael Bates. He's done it at both ends so far.
It's the guy who's playing out on the force for Michael Bates. He's got to do a better job of slowing up his release. It's going to be a high point with the opportunity to down it. He's got to work harder at the beginning of the play. That allows Michael Bates to go downfield and just make a great special teams play. Watch, he taps the ball back in before he touches the line. Great effort by Michael Bates.
The Jets released Albert Johnson as a kick returner and signed Bates because he can cover 2, and he certainly did on that play. And now the Cowboys backed up starting from the 2-yard line, and Troy Hambrick barely gets back to the line of scrimmage. And this is a Jet team that is playing with a passion here in this first quarter.
Watch Chester McLaughlin, the penetration that he gets right there. Knocks Dan Campbell back, jams everything up. Troy Hambrick has nowhere to go. He does a good job of just making sure he gets out of the end zone so there's no safety.
And you wonder, by looking at the Jets, why they would be 0-3 playing the way they have. But, you know, they have lost a lot of close games. Miami was not, but the opener with the Redskins last week against New England, very tight. 2nd down and 11, and here is Carter throwing from the end zone. Richie Anderson pushed out of bounds, and he is short of the 1st down by a couple of yards. Right now, let's take a look at the New York Jets, the defensive unit. John Abraham, and Abraham, suffering a hamstring, has been hampered. Ferguson, Dwayne Robertson, the #1 pick, and Sean Ellis, who's been outstanding. Sam Cowart, Marvin Jones, and Mo Lewis is better in the linebacking core, as you'll see in the NFL. In the secondary with Beasley and Mickens at corner, Sam Barnes and John McGraw, the safeties. 3rd down 2 for the Cowboys in a fast-moving first quarter. Dallas at the 10-yard line, and a fake pitch, and Carter running it will get the 1st down. So Quincy Carter using his legs, picking up enough yards for the 1st round as the Cowboys finally move the chains.
And that's Bill Parcells adapting to the personnel that he has on this Dallas Cowboy team. He knows that Quincy is good on the move. It gets him a run-pass option on a critical play, 3rd down, deep in their own end. And Dan Campbell does a good job. He's the guy out in the flat. He's covered by Mo Lewis. But when he knows that he's not going to be a receiver, he turns around, gets a block, gets enough of Mo Lewis for Quincy to get the 1st down.
Ball is at the 14. On 1st down, hand off to Hambrick, and Hambrick picks up 3 yards as we send it back down to Chris Myers.
Well, you alluded to Richie Anderson moments ago, of course, a former Jet that Bill Parcells had him. He's named captain of the Cowboys, and Quincy Carter told us that he's a guy who's influenced him on and off the field, much like Parcells. Back in April, he hung around Richie Anderson, working out through the offseason. He's a guy he leans on in the huddle and may need to lean on him here. Dick?
Well, one of the few former Jets on this team, and he knows he can depend on certain people, and Richie Anderson is one of them. 2nd down and 6. With a half a minute remaining in the first quarter from the 18. Play action for Carter. He's got time, and here is Galloway, but the pass is thrown out of bounds, and he was well covered by John McGraw and Aaron Beasley downfield.
And the things that Quincy Carter has learned from hanging around with Richie Anderson is his professionalism, and that's a word that you'll hear Bill Parcells use a lot. Troy Hambrick, he talked about him being the first guy at the complex on Saturday morning before they departed. Quincy Carter being one of the last guys out of the building during the course of the week, watching film, doing everything he can to make himself a better player.
He called Quincy Carter a gym rat, which is a term usually reserved for basketball players. But Bill Parcells uses other sports to get his point across. 3rd down and 6 from the 18. Carter again with time, and this time overthrows Dan Campbell, and that will be incomplete. 4th down coming up. So Carter has had time, Moose, but he hasn't been accurate here in the first.
No, he is not, and he's throwing the ball a little bit high. They need to get with him when he comes off the field and calm him down. He's throwing everything just a tad high right now. To me, that speaks of a guy whose adrenaline's pumping a little bit big right now.
He's 1 for 5 for only 8 yards, and Santana Moss going back deep, and the Jets looking for good field position with Toby Goen punting from about the 5. Good kick by Goen. Hang time a little short from what you'd like, but the return by Moss, and Moss wings his way into Cowboy territory, the 49-yard line. You'd like the hang time to be about 5 seconds. This was about 4-3. It was a 41-yard punt, and the Jets with good field position thanks to good defense on the other side. We're looming in New York City, where in East Rutherford, New Jersey at the Meadowlands with 3 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Jets with good field position, 1st down at midfield, and they hand off to Lamont Jordan, and he'll lose about 3 yards as the first quarter comes to an end. With the score, the Jets 3 and the Cowboys. The fans of the New York Jets not as fond of the tuna as many others. Jets leading on a Doug Bryan field goal on the opening drive. 34 yards out as we start the second quarter. Dick Stockton along with Moose Johnston. Chris Myers is with us. Good field position in the first quarter. Jets starting from their 37, and the Cowboys to 16. A big edge there, but it's 3-0, and on the screen to Santana Moss. And Moss doesn't quite fumble back to the line of scrimmage and loses the ball, and the fumble is recovered by the Cowboys. Well, that'll be a downer for Herman Edwards and his Jet team. They have field position. They've looked very sharp, and then Santana coughs it up.
Eric Agbagu coming across, working down the line of scrimmage, gets a hand on the football to knock it loose. If you're going to run that wide receiver screen and everything's shut down on the outside and you want to work back to the middle of the field, you were working right back into the pursuit of the defense.
Bagu, former member of the Jets, and recovered by Al Singleton.
State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By IBM, official information technology partner of the NFL. And by Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Cool down easy.
A gloomy enough statistic for the Jets in the second quarter as they turn it over to the Cowboys, who are in Jet territory at the 48-yard line, and Avion Kaysen with the carry. He's got the speed, and Kaysen picking up a couple of yards with Jason Ferguson in on the tackle. Kaysen, who electrified the Cowboys at home in a losing cause against the Falcons with a 63-yard touchdown run against Atlanta on the first Sunday.
Avion Kaysen and Troy Hambrick, a nice changeup between the two running styles of each other. Troy's that big banger that goes in between the tackles, and as you pointed out, if you give Avion Kaysen any type of seam, he can take it the distance from any point on the field.
Now the Jets line up with the veteran fullback Richie Anderson behind Carter. 2nd and 7. And it's going to be another play action situation. They dump it off to Anderson, and Anderson looking for running room. He'll get the first down. Moving into Jet territory further to the 35-yard line, and that is a pickup of 10 for Dallas.
One of the things that Bill Parcells and Maurice Carthon, the offensive coordinator, do to help out Quincy Carter is take away the reads to progression. What they like to do is bring the receivers into one area of the football field. And a lot of people will think that Quincy is staring down the receiver when actually he is reading down the tier, On this pass play, he's got one receiver deep down the field, another at the intermediate level. When that's shut down, he dumps it off to Richie Anderson. All those guys are in his line of vision.
And here is the end around. Joey Galloway trying to find an open space, and the Jets converge pretty well. And on a play that is engineered to get a big chunks of yardage, is held to only 3 thanks to Sam Garnes, the strong safety, and Mo Lewis, the veteran linebacker, who, of course, Bill Parcells still very fond of from his days with the Jets. Second and 7 at the 31-yard line. Joey Galloway, who had a big game receiving against Atlanta. Terry Glenn against the Giants. And again, they fake the end around, and Troy Hambrick, with the power and the speed, gets into the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown, and there are no flags down. A great burst by Troy Hambrick, and the turnover giving the Cowboys a big opportunity, and Hambrick makes the most of it with a 31-yard burst.
Well, they just run the end around on the last play. Here comes the wide receiver in motion again. He fakes it. He holds Mo Lewis on the outside on contain. That allows Troy Hambrick to get inside. Everybody in the interior of that line does a good job getting their man blocked. And we talked about Troy being a banger inside, but he's got some speed on his own.
It looked like he did, Moose. He's got it all, maybe, and Bill Parcells appreciating his abilities, and there's Billy Cundiff, the hero against the Giants, with a 52-yard field goal to tie, and then the field goal to win. Follows up Hambrick's touchdown run with the extra point to give the Cowboys a 7-3 lead. Preparing to kick off, and Michael Bates is back deep. And Bates on the run on the 11-yard line. And Bates with a return out to the 33, where the Jets, now trailing by a score of 7-3, will take over. Cowboys in front 7-3 beginning Tuesday. Baseball's postseason begins on Fox as the Cubs, yes, the Cubbies are in it, trying to win their first playoff series in 95 years. Take on the Braves, a great hitting team trying to avoid another playoff disappointment. Then the Twins travel to the Bronx, take on the Yankees. And the road to the World Series begins Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific, only on Fox. Yankees did not lose to the Twins this year. And the pitch to Curtis Martin on the outside, and Martin getting out to the 37-yard line. So with all of the Jet problems, with the injury to Pennington and the loss of 4 key players, and Cole's really stinging this week, Woody Johnson, the owner of the team, who very rarely makes an appearance and talks, in fact, hadn't talked since July, said he thought that the Jets should be encouraged, but he did say that they had talent equal or better to any team in the NFL. And of course, Herman Edwards reacted and said, look, if they don't like the job I'm doing, they can fire me. And of course, Woody Johnson then had to settle things with Herman Edwards. We don't know if the whole flap is settled, but it really not a great week for the New York Jets off the field. And the handoff to Curtis Martin. And they get to the 40-yard line, and right now for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, after spotting Detroit a 7-0 lead, take a look at Jake Plummer hooking up with Ashley Lee, a 29-yard strike. That knotted it up at 7 at Mile High. Then in Carolina, Stephen Davis, 2 100-yard games in his first 2 games for Carolina. Touchdown run as he steps into the end zone. 7-0 Carolina, back to Dick Stockton.
Trying to remain unbeaten, JB, are the Carolina Panthers under John Fox. 3rd down and 3. And a flag is down, and a free play for Vinny Testaverde, but the pass is thrown to the other side of Santana Moss. Bernie Kukar, the referee, and this is the first penalty for either team. It doesn't come until the opening minutes of the second quarter. It'll be an offsides penalty against the Dallas Cowboys.
Offside, 96 defense. The 5-yard penalty resulting in first down.
Ebenezer Ekubon, one of the guys that this Cowboy defense has to rely on to get pressure on the quarterback, trying to get a big jump right there. Vinny Testaverde, the savvy vet, using his cadence to get him to jump off sides.
Jets now with a first down on their 45, trailing 7-3. Wayne Krebet going in motion. And here's Curtis Martin, and Martin gets to the 45-yard line as we send it down to Chris.
And you can hear the crowd rumbling of a boo or so. And before the game, the Jets didn't look like an 0-3 team that had kind of a player-only huddle in the pregame warm-up. They got off to the early lead. All of a sudden, now that they're trailing, they look like a dejected bunch on the bench. In fact, one of their players ran over and said, hey, come on, guys. It's early in the game. Don't give up hope. And Herman Edwards said coming into this game, despite 0-3, play with anxiety, but play with no doubt.
If they're dejected, losing 7-3 in the second quarter, this team is in deep trouble, and I don't really know if they are, despite some of the pictures we see. Second down and 10 from the 45-yard line, and here is the end around of Moss, trying to use the speedster, but there to make a big play, Eric Obogu, once again, a bug for the Jets, the ex-New York Jet player making a play, holding Moss to a gain of only 5.
Eric Ogbogu right here. That's his responsibility. Contain on the backside specifically for that play. Any type of reverse, any type of boot back out to the backside, he doesn't chase it down, leaves himself the ability to get back upfield. Shows a little bit of athleticism there too, getting Santana Moss back inside into the ground.
You know, if anything, I think the Jets have a them against us mentality because all the things that happen. And, you know, Herman Edwards is a fire and brimstone coach. And you know that he got this team going, as you see the ratio favoring the run, and this pass not a good one by Testaverde, intended for Moss. Bounces in front of him on the short hop as we get to the baseball playoffs.
Well, if you're going to be a team that's in the situation that the Jets are right now, or what they found themselves in this week with everything going on, the media attracting the attention to unhappiness with the owner and the GM or the head coach, I don't think there's any better guy to have in charge of the team than Herman Edwards. He does such a great job of selling his philosophy to the team, letting them follow his demeanor. He has not panicked at any time. He overreacted to the comment, but he has brought his team back and got them focused on this game, took the attention away from that entire situation.
He put it on his shoulders, you're absolutely right, and the fair catch called for by Zuriel Smith at the 11-yard line. A screen pass, lead the Jets 7-3. First down for the Cowboys on the 11. Dan Campbell going back to a fullback spot and blocking for Troy Hambrick, and Hambrick doesn't get much on first down. You know, a lot of what we're talking about is accountability, and you're waiting somewhere along the line, either for the coach to say, well, I haven't done a great job yet, or the general manager to say, you know, they've lost some big-time players, and Lavernius Coles really might have been considered arguably the best player they had, which they lost for whatever reason it is. You know, you try to win, but those are 4 tough losses to the Washington Redskins alone.
And even their performance on the field, maybe more important, what they brought to the locker room. You talk to the players on the Jets team, they just lose their leadership, their emotion in the game. When you talk about a Randy Thomas, a Chad Morton, a Lavernius Coles.
And John Hall, the kicker, who did the job again today for the Redskins. Carter, under big pressure, throws it incomplete. Joey Galloway was the intended receiver. But there was a good pressure there by Chester McLaughlin, forcing Carter just to toss it away.
Well, one of the problems with Quincy Carter, when you talk about consistency, it's not his ability, it's the systems he's been in. And if you take a look with what he's had to deal with, these are his 3 years right here. He's had 3 different coordinators in his career. In 2001, they adjusted the offense after Troy Aikman retired, and then he's had Bruce Coslett and now Maurice Carthon. So to take that next step, to be comfortable in the system, you have to be in it for at least 2 to 3 seasons. He's never had that opportunity in his career yet.
3rd and 9. And the handoff to Avion Cason, and Cason will be stopped at the 15-yard line, and so the ball control story and field position continues to favor the New York Jets. A 3-yard gain, and 4th down coming up, and a punting situation. As you see, Maurice Carthon, who was with the Detroit Lions last year, and the offensive coordinator and running backs coach who played for Bill Parcells with the Giants.
And I think with Quincy's opportunity to be in a system for multiple years, you're going to start to see that consistency come around. He'll start to make the throws that people can't think he makes during the course of the game. It'll benefit him tremendously.
And the kick very nearly blocked. And you may see some of that trickery today as Santana Moss, with a flag down, returns the punt inside the 40-yard line. Mike Westhoff is the special teams coach for the Jets, and we'll have a personal foul call, tripping, called against the New York Jets. So an unfortunate call for Herm Edwards' crew, and let's see if we can pick it up. Now, if it's going to be running into the kicker or roughing the kicker, it's going to be an automatic first down.
Gave him roughing.
Roughing the kicker, number 82. He hit the flat leg of the punter. That's 15 yards. first down.
Kevin Swain, that's not what Mike Westhoff envisioned on this play.
No, when you're pregame, you're watching where this punter kicks the football, and that is called the block point. You go to the block point. You don't go where the punter is going to be because your momentum will carry you into the kicker. You're at least going to get running into. And Paul Westhoff's got to be very frustrated because I'm sure he told every one of his players on that punt block team exactly where the block point was during the game. You go to that point. You don't go to the punter.
So the Jets could have had the ball inside the Cowboy 40. Instead, Dallas with a first down on their 30-yard line. A huge turn of events and a big break. And Carter with the pump fake. And Galloway did not have possession, I don't think. They called it incompletion, but he juggled the ball. So I'm not sure of this 8-yard gain as it is ruled right here.
We'll get a look right here. Look at him working the sideline right there. It's loose. I think it's a catch. I think he maintained possession. But see that he doesn't have it all the way right here at the beginning. He's bobbling it right there. As he comes down, he's got it secured, and the ground does not help him control the football.
Richie Anderson getting nothing on second down, bringing up third down. And you know, it wouldn't have been anything you would challenge anyway. It's just an 8-yard play, and even if you disagree with that call, but it was very close as to whether he kept both feet in bounds. And it'll be 3rd down and 1 coming up for the Cowboys. And it's been raining on and off all morning. It was off when the game started, and now the faucet is turned on. With the Cowboys looking at 3rd and 1. And Troy Hambrick, second effort, and he may not have made it. It will all depend on the spot as Hambrick is hit very close to the first down near the 40.
One of the things you have to be as a short yardage and goal line runner is somebody who can make the tough yards when they're not there. You get into these type of defenses, a lot of times you're going to have an unblocked defender right in the hole, and it's up to the running back to make that yardage for the first down or to push the pile to get into the end zone. Troy Hambrick, very physical run there.
And Herman Edwards arguing in vain as Hambrick does get enough for the first down. Leaves the game, and Avion Cason checking back in for the Cowboys. And Cason is lined up wide to the right as a receiver. Carter with the pass to Richie Anderson, incomplete, throwing it at the foot of a receiver. Here's Chris Myers.
Well, it rained earlier in the morning, and the raindrops are starting to fall now. It was interesting before the game. Herman Edwards, the Jets, said we don't want it to rain, and Bill Parcells, his crew, said we'd love to play in the rain here. Quincy Carter had a big game against the Giants here at the Meadowlands in the rain. He'll feel comfortable, and he uses rosin. He doesn't use a glove from his baseball days when he played in the Cubs organization, and that gives him a good grip on a wet ball, and look for that not to be a problem for him.
He's been throwing a couple of high fastballs to this point during the course of the game. The ball's sailing on him a tad.
Out of the strike zone to be sure, and Richie Anderson picking up a couple of yards. Dwayne Robertson, the Jets' #1 draft pick out of Kentucky. Right now for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles. What do you have, JB?
Hey, Dick, Terry Bradshaw's been talking about Jake Plummer for days. Well, he's looking awfully good here, hooking up with Shannon Sharp. 12 for 13, 143 yards, 2 touchdowns. Denver with the go-ahead score, 14-7 back to Dick, Darryl, and Chris.
I think this was a big year for Jake Plummer because you could look at Arizona and say he didn't have the supporting cast necessary to utilize his talents. He's got all of that in Denver. If he came out and had another poor year, you could start to talk about maybe Jake Plummer wasn't the guy we thought.
And this is an important play, and here is Carter on 3rd down and 7, and he completes to Galloway for the first down at the 47-yard line. Tyrone Carter, the nickelback, defending on the play, but Carter waiting for the ball, and Carter hits Galloway for the first down.
Well, at this point right now, it seems Quincy's throwing the ball better when the play breaks down, and he's ad-libbing. When he's had the time to stand in the pocket, that ball has sailed on him a little bit. I still feel that maybe he's a little bit pumped up right now, but when the play breaks down and he's out, he's just using that athletic ability he has, and he's relaxed.
He's got that massive offensive line, and you saw the up-close and personal look at Larry Allen as they broke the huddle. First down on the 46 of the Jets. Cowboys leading 7-3. Another play-action pass, and going downfield, and the pass intended for Antonio Bryant, who was a particular hero against the Giants. He caught the catch, setting up the tying field goal at the end of regulation. and covered well by Jamie Henderson downfield.
And this is a very dangerous group of wide receivers, and it's Bill Parcells adjusting to the personnel that he has. He did it with Drew Bledsoe when he was at New England. He did different styles with the Jets and the Giants. He's got three very fast, very explosive guys out. That's why you'll see so much three-man front, and then he'll slip in some running game and some play action off that same personnel group.
2nd and 10 on the 46. The fake end around, and tripping is Troy Hambrick. And he is held to only 2 yards on the play to the 44 as we have 4 minutes 40 seconds remaining in the first half.
You know, you wonder, John Abraham, he's got outside contain. We saw the good play earlier. Here comes Joey Galloway. They use him to fake the reverse to hold that guy there to create the running lane. But we've already had the reverse to Joey Galloway. So, you know, Bill Parcells will do some unique things offensively with Maurice Corthon, the coordinator, but I don't think we're going to see a lot of reverses called during the game.
We've seen a lot of fake reverses.
We sure have.
3rd down and 8. Here is Carter back in the pocket, and he's not going to get away from any green shirts as he is stopped at the 45-yard line, so the Cowboys don't even get into field goal range. And the first sack of the game by the Jets, and it's John Abraham and Jason Ferguson both in on the play. And last week, the Jets managed to sack Tom Brady 5 times in the losing game against New England. So Santana Moss back to his 10-yard line. And kicking will be Toby Goen for the 3rd time. Fair catch by Moss, and a flag down back near the line of scrimmage. And it will be a holding penalty against the kicking team. And the Jets obviously will want the kick again because Moss was held for the fair catch at the 12.
85 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, still 4th down.
The biggest reason for that, not only the fact that they're back at the 12-yard line, but also that coverage team's got to turn around right away and go back downfield 40 yards to cover another kick, and you give Santana Moss the opportunity. But Toby Goen's a good punter. He's got the ability right now to maybe put you inside the 12, so it'll be interesting to see what happens with this return.
You saw the look on Jeff Robinson, the long snapper, who was holding there. And you know that the Jets are trying to come up with a combination, and maybe instead of the kick being blocked, it was better to hold on that play than to have a kick blocked. Goen's kick, and a low kick, and Santana Moss doesn't get much good coverage that time by the Cowboys special teams as Moss is tackled at the 26 by Jason Witten.
The term hidden yardage during the course of a football game. Here's a great example. Reggie Wayne roughs the kicker. Now they have the ball at the 27-yard lines. They just lost 40 yards of effective field position on where they would have started that drive had they not had the penalty.
Hidden yardage is a big Bill Parcells deal here. He talks all the time about things that don't appear in the final numbers. 1st and 10 at the 27. Big pressure on Vinny Testaverde, and he's forced to get rid of it in a hurry. And pressure up front by Ebenezer Ekuban, bringing up 2nd down and 10. Dallas Cowboys, after losing the opener in Atlanta, beating the Giants. And next week the Cowboys go against the Arizona Cardinals at home, and they have Arizona and Philadelphia at home, trying to build something in Bill Parcells' first year. Jets 0-3 for the first time in 4 years, trying to get a win before the bye week. From the 27 on 2nd down and 10, Curtis Martin off the left side. And Curtis Martin gets 5 yards on the play. Martin getting a lot more carries, has 14 carries so far for 43 yards.
We talked about needing around 20 before he got into a rhythm, saw what the defense was trying to do to take away the running game, and getting comfortable with his offensive line. It's not just the running back, but it's also seeing how your group in front is blocking the opposition's defense.
3rd and 5 from the 32 with under 2.5 to play, and here's Testaverde. He's going up on top, and the pass is caught by Santana Moss. great catch by Moss, who beat Terrence Newman, and that was a foot race all the way, 38 yards, and the old man can still throw, and the speedster can make the big grab.
This is just great execution. Terrence Newman is right there. He's stride for stride with Santana Moss. Look at that ball placed on his outside shoulder. There's nobody else that's going to catch this ball than Santana Moss. Look at the concentration. A little help with the face mask to bring that in. But that's not a knock on Terrence Newman. That's a great throw by Vinny Testaverde and Santana Moss finishing the play.
And Moose, they only threw to Moss one time last week for 17 yards. So if you want to use him as possibly a big playmaker, one time won't get it done. 2-minute warning here at the Meadowlands with the Cowboys leading and the Jets threatening. Announcing the 49ers, you'll see highlights of that game and many others, including tough battles with the Redskins and Eagles today in the NFC East. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. 1st and 10 at the 30. And Testaverde will throw it, and he lost the pass, and it's caught by Santana Moss again. Talk about emphasizing Curtis Martin. Santana Moss getting his number called. That's an 11-yard pickup, and Terrence Newman almost had that ball to grasp away from Moss.
What a great job of not giving up on the play. Santana Moss stumbles coming out of his break, gets back up, pulls it off his back shoulder. That's a great effort in not giving up on the play. Just pop up. Vinny's already got the ball delivered on time. Nice job, Santana.
And Moss with a career high in the Miami game a couple of weeks ago, 142 yards. Quiet last week, a big part so far this week, but the Cowboys still lead it 7-3. And the handoff is to Curtis Martin. Martin at the 15-yard line going outside, dragged down, flags are down, and a fumble into the end zone.
That's going to be holding on Wayne Corbett, so if Dallas gets the ball,
it'll be a touchback. And it is a touchback, and the Cowboys will get it at the 20-yard line. That's exactly what happened. So the Jets' opportunity going by the boards, and Wayne Corbett calling for holding.
That penalty is declined. A fumble into the end zone recovered by Dallas results in a touchback. First down Dallas at the 20-yard line.
And Darren Woodson alertly picked up the ball in the end zone for the touchback. And so once again, the Jets, who have scored only one touchdown in each of the first 3 games, still has not scored one here.
Here's Wayne Corbett right here. Does a nice job of going downfield and getting the block, but once Pete Hunter goes to move away, he's got to let him go. You can't continue to hold on to him.
So it's 7-3, Cowboys at the 20 to the disappointment of this capacity crowd. The 2 Cowboys safeties, Woodson and Williams, playing major roles as the Cowboys getting the ball back on the 20-yard line, and it was all because of the holding penalty against Wayne Corbett. 1:42 remaining, and here is Avion Cason. Cason rolls for the first down and out of bounds near midfield, stopping the clock at 1:34 remaining.
Well, Roy Williams, watch him. Right now, Curtis Martin's got him. Once he gets free, he's got to get that ball in the outside arm. Roy Williams is going to come in, get a handful of jersey, and then he's going to punch the ball out. If you get that ball on the outside, it makes it harder for the defender. That's the attention to detail that people talk about. Roy Williams, a guy who Bill Parcells challenged to make big plays. Last season, 5 interceptions, 3 forced fumbles, 2 fumble recoveries. He hasn't been off to a great start, but that's a good play for Roy right there.
And here's Avion Cason again after a 20-yard run. This time rambles off the left side, gets it close to midfield, picking up 8 yards with Kari Campbell, the linebacker for the Jet defense, making the tackle. There's Wayne Corbett, who last week had stepped out of bounds. One of the miscues that the Jets committed execution-wise that prevented them from getting closer to the Patriots, and now holding on a situation where the Jets were driving for at least a field goal. 1 minute remaining in the first half. 2nd down and 3, and Carter wants to put it in the air, and the pass is caught with a flag down back on the 40. First down, Antonio Bryant with his first reception of the game, but will have illegal hands to the face called against the Dallas Cowboys.
And that was Quincy's best throw of the afternoon so far. A real nice timing route on the outside to Antonio Bryant. Stands in the pocket and delivers the ball.
Use of hands, number 65 offense. Hands to the face, 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Andre Garrard, the right guard. And so then the Cowboys blunted in their effort to get into Jet territory with another first down with under a minute remaining. By the way, all timeouts remain for both the Cowboys and the Jets, but it'll be 2nd and 13 for Dallas back on their 37. Fake handoff by Carter, drills it up the middle, and Terry Glenn had it and lost it on a crossing pattern. Looked like he had beaten a defender clearly at the 45-yard line, and that was a Tyrone Carter defender.
Quincy's just in a really good rhythm right now. He's stepping up in the pocket, and that was one of the throws that people said that he has trouble with. He did a great job against the Giants 2 weeks ago. He hits Terry Glenn right in stride, gives him the ability to move after the catch. Terry takes his eyes off the ball, has a lack of concentration, and puts it on the ground.
3rd down and 13. Both teams saving their timeouts for one last chance. Cowboys need to get to midfield. Otherwise, they'll have to kick. And here's a pass for Galloway, and he makes the catch for the first down. Joey Galloway, and he's been open all day, it seems, on the sideline especially. A 33-yard pickup, and finally Henderson and McGraw catch up to him.
But this is another nice throw by Quincy Carter. In between the zone, he finds Joey Galloway in that little void when they play the coverage. Jamie Henderson not staying with him long enough, and then John McGraw can't get over in time to make the play.
First down with 38 seconds to go. Cowboys know they need to get into field goal range at least. Time is a factor. Galloway 3 catches for 45 yards, and the handoff to Richie Anderson, and Anderson breaks one, and Anderson won't go down. Finally decked and wrapped up by the Jets at the 20-yard line. So now the Cowboys are in field goal range after the 13-yard pickup with a chance for a touchdown.
And a play we saw similar in the first quarter. Richie Anderson getting another big run off that same play call.
Cowboys using their first timeout. 30 seconds on the clock. Cowboys use a timeout. The Jets now outscored 34-3 in the second quarter this season. They're to go from the first to the third in future games if they can. First down at the 20, and it'll be play action. Carter being chased from behind and sacked. Great play by Sean Ellis from behind, and that is his 5th sack of the season, having a brilliant early start. And now the timeout called by Dallas, their second. And we'll have a timeout. 6-yard loss thanks to Sean Ellis. And Galloway gets inside the 15, close to a first down. And now the 3rd and final timeout by the Dallas Cowboys. It was Jamie Henderson on Joey Galloway, who's had a terrific first half with 4 catches. And the Cowboys will be at the 13-yard line as Bill Parcells talks it over.
I'll tell you, one of the things they're telling their wide receivers right now, if you catch the ball, you either get in the end zone or get out of the bounds, because sitting at 15 seconds left in the half, when I played, we did drills. To get your field goal team out onto the field, set, and to kick a ball takes about 16 seconds. So they're right underneath that comfort zone. So if the Dallas player is tackled in bounds, I don't think they're even going to have enough time to get this kickoff.
Visa halftime report will come your way at the end of this first half. 15 seconds remaining. Cowboys have no timeouts remaining. In good field goal range for Billy Cundiff. And here's the pass to the end zone, and it was caught by Bryant for the touchdown. Antonio Bryant making the catch in the back of the end zone.
Well, they're talking about it right now.
Well, the officials discuss it. We got the touchdown sign. And now they're going to wave it off. They're going to wave it off. He may not have had possession.
Antonio Bryant gets right up the seam, beats Jamie Henderson to the inside.
May not have had possession, Moose.
I don't know. We're at a point now where this
challenge.
goes upstairs. You can't challenge it. It's going to go to the officials upstairs. Right. I think that's a touchdown. He's got possession. He does a great job of getting his feet in. I think this is going to be overturned for a touchdown.
The feet were in. The question is, did he have possession? And on that last replay, it appeared that he did.
He knows it right there. He just watched the replay in the stadium.
And here comes the whistle. And you know this is going to be reviewed by the crew upstairs, as it is in the final 2 minutes of each half. Actually, they will signal it, and Bernie Kukar will make the judgment.
The ruling on the field of an incompleted pass.
We're going to take a break as Bernie Kukar takes another look.
Wireless troubles?
My phone works here, not there. Same with voicemail, email.
Sprint is different. All your services work the same wherever you go on the most complete all-digital advanced wireless network in the nation. And all the calls are clear.
So everything works.
And this will never happen again.
PCS from Sprint. Try the nation's most complete wireless network.
This fall, Bristol-Myers Squibb, the cancer community, and I will come together for a very special campaign called the Tour of Hope. We want to raise awareness of clinical trials and let people know that cancer research is worth the ride. I've had this relationship with Bristol-Myers Squibb for years now because if it wasn't for BMS drugs, I just would not be sitting here today. Together, we can speed the search for a cure.
Follow the Bristol-Myers Squibb Tour of Hope team and Lance Armstrong in this historic ride. Find out more by visiting our website.
Reviewing the play in which the pass to Antonio Bryant was ruled incomplete. And it's interesting that Bill Parcells deciding to go to the air and trying to get a touchdown. This was a safe play because if this is incomplete, he has time for the field goal attempt. Looked like he held on with the one hand after he had both feet in bounds. But let's see how they rule it. Remember, indisputable visual evidence to change the ruling.
He's got possession.
Yeah,
he takes his hand off the ball to brace his fall, but
right.
He's already established possession of the catch, got his feet in.
Did not see the bobble.
No. It was a good play call. They threw the ball into the end zone. The one thing they could not do was to throw it at some point where the receiver could get tackled in play because they're not going to get that kicking team out. They're going to forfeit an opportunity for points. So in that situation, you've got to throw the ball into the end zone or throw it real close to the sideline.
Or even an interception wasn't really possible with that kind of a play, because the defender would have been out of the end zone as well.
Well, Quincy did a great job on that entire drive. He threw the ball as well as he has all afternoon on that entire drive.
Here he is.
After reviewing the play, the receiver had both feet in, did have possession of the football. It is a touchdown.
So Bill Parcells doesn't have to settle for three. Instead, Antonio Bryant, in his second year, gives the Cowboys the touchdown, and it is now a 13-3 lead. His first touchdown reception this season. Made the big catch. Going to like this stadium a lot, Moose, after the big reception against the Giants 13 days ago before the game-tying field goal. So Billy Cundiff is aboard with 11 seconds remaining. That's another number people want to forget here, that 11 seconds. That's a nightmare. The kick is good, and the Cowboys lead 14-3. So we have 11 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Not quite the drama of the 11 seconds at the end of the game that sent Giant fans home muttering. Well, next week it's a Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader beginning with America's #1 pregame show. First, Emmett Booth. Scoring drive, 80 yards in 8 plays, and they did it in a hurry, 1 minute 31 seconds. And you're so right, Quincy Carter finally finding the mark after a shaky passing exhibition earlier. He was 3 for 4 for 53 yards on that drive.
And the only one that was incomplete was the drop by Terry Glenn, and Quincy Carter put that one right on the money in stride to Terry Glenn. So just amazing. You know, he had struggled a little bit up until that point. Things were kind of sailing on him when he was throwing from the pocket, but on that drive, just 4 absolutely perfectly thrown footballs.
Michael Bates and Lamont Jordan back deep, and the kickoff returned by Bates. And Bates trying to get out of bounds, cannot do so, and 3 seconds remaining in the first half. So the New York Jets are doing what they wanted to do, run the ball, but the turnovers, the fumbles by Santana Moss and Curtis Martin really putting the Jets in a hole with 3 seconds remaining in the first half of a 14-3 game.
And that's one of the statistics that really holds true no matter what happens during the course of the game is turnovers. And when you walk into Valley Ranch now, one of the first signs you see is think turnovers. It's a philosophy that Bill Parcells has preached to these guys his entire time since taking that job.
Crowd booing the Jets. who are trailing at the half and still unable to get the touchdown. And that is the end of the first half here at the Meadowlands with the score. The Dallas Cowboys 14, the New York Jets 3, as we send it down to Chris Myers.
With Herman Edwards first, Coach, obviously the penalties, turnovers killed you. Who do you have to get the ball to in the second half on offense to turn this around?
Well, we got to just hold on to the ball when we get it to our good players, and I think the second half, that's what we're going to have to do. We got them pinned down here, and they go all the way for a touchdown before the half. That kills you. 3rd and 13, they run a draw, and, we missed some tackles, but we still got another half, and we're down, but we come back before, and that's what we got to do this half. We got to come back at halftime.
Bigger picture, being winless at home, trailing at the half, what's the psyche of the team at the half? What do you tell them?
Well, we just got to come out and keep playing. We've been in scoring position. We've just turned the ball over. We had a good drive down here, and we turned it over, so we got a chance in this game.
All right, thanks, Coach. Thanks for your time.
All right, Chris, and what the Jets need to do is force some turnovers as Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Visa halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. Halftime, Dallas 14 and the New York Jets 3.
And the strength of this offensive team, that's what he told me back a few weeks ago, and he's getting the ball in the receiver's hand. It's amazing that he's taken this team that's been at the end of the pack as far as offensively the last few years. They're #1 in the NFL right now throwing the football.
Use your word, amazing. What also will be amazing, some will go to local news. The others will come back for the amazing highlights by the Blonde Bomber.
That's right.
The Giants, the offense was good. The defense, not so good. Defense playing outstanding for the Cowboys in the first half.
Well, they have played well in the first half, but this is the half that they've struggled in. The second halves of football games, they have not played very well. And it'll be interesting to see if they've corrected that or changed it. The big thing that Dallas is doing is they're generating turnovers. Now, they got 2 turnovers. They got 14 points off them. But at some point, you got to look at the Jets' defense. One of those turnovers was a touchback in the end zone. They got the ball at the 20. The defense let them go 80 yards at the end of the half.
And the Cowboys, who will get the ball first, have been able to run. They have gained 119 yards on the run. Bobbling it is Zuriel Smith, the rookie, coming out, and he will pay for it, and he will be stopped inside the 15-yard line by Jacoby Shepard. You look at the halftime numbers, and Dallas Cowboys, very impressive, 119, but the points off a turnover.
Yeah, but one of them, Santana Moss, fumbled in their end of the field. Dallas took advantage of that with Troy Hambrick's long run, but the other one was a fumble into the end zone by Curtis Martin. They got the ball on the 20, so sometimes you see points off turnovers, and you're like, oh my gosh, they must be playing sloppy in their end of the field. They allowed Dallas to go 80 yards.
They did, and that's where their defense faltered. So 14-3 the score, and once again the Jets stymied in their efforts to score more than a touchdown. Haven't even gotten that so far in this game. First down at the 14 for Dallas. First possession of the third quarter, Troy Hambrick with good power, and we showed his speed as well as he got 31 yards, gets to the 19-yard line.
Well, here's the first fumble by Santana Moss. Now, that was in Jets territory. That was followed up by Troy Hambrick's run for a touchdown. But the second one was Curtis Martin, where the ball went into the end zone. Dallas recovers it. They get the ball 1st and 10 on their own 20. So the defense let them go all the way down the field, and here's the result. A nice touchdown pass to Antonio Bryant 11 seconds before halftime.
Yeah, that's really a killer, as Herm Edwards told Chris Myers. And there they fake the end around, and Troy Hambrick goes up the middle for the first down, getting to the 32-yard line, an 11-yard pickup. So the Cowboys are moving again on the ground early here in this third quarter.
Bill Parcells has got the game in his control right now. That was a very quick first half. He's going to take time off the clock to shorten this football game, running it, keeping the guys inbounds on pass plays. He's not going to allow the Jets very many opportunities this half to get back in this football game.
Cowboys on their 31. Dallas team with a great boost of confidence, making the most of their bye week, and worked very hard in that bye week as Hambrick dives forward to the 35 and picking up 4 yards in the process. A lot of people curious as to what the Bill Parcells entry would be in the first year. I mean, he hasn't always gotten it done in the first year wherever he has been. Second year is usually the big year for him. But for the Dallas Cowboys to win another road game, that would be a huge feather in their cap.
One of the most difficult things to do when you're trying to turn a program around is to take your team on the road and play well. And the Dallas Cowboys, up until this point in this game, have played their best football on the road.
Second down and 6, Avion Cason. And Cason will be short 2.5 yards thanks to Sean Ellis. Good balance in the running attack by the Cowboys with Hambrick Richie Anderson and Avion Kaysen. They've had a lot of guys to go to, so we don't know if the defense is going to stay energized, but the running back certainly will. See the difference between the first and second quarters for the Cowboys, who look at 3rd down and 2.
Boy, that second quarter has been an absolute Achilles heel for the Jets all season long.
3rd and 2, and on the bootleg, here is Quincy Carter, and Carter is going to get enough for the first down. And a well-devised play going out of bounds at the 42-yard line. And a gain of 3, and that's all he needed.
We'll take a look at what we're doing when we talk about the tiers. This guy's going to go deep. These guys are going to come across, and this guy's going to release. All 3 of these guys will be in the line of sight of Quincy Carter. Now, he boots out to the right. He's got all the guys. He reads down the tier. There they are. They're all coming into his line of sight. When he doesn't like it, he just tucks it away and runs for the marker.
Coming out for the measurement. And it is a first down, as the Jets want to make sure that he did get the necessary yardage. This is a critical half for Bill Parcells' former team, the New York Jets. And for Herm Edwards, looking at 0-3, and a lot of people thought they would all band together after all the problems with the comments made by Woody Johnson, the owner, and the reaction by Herm Edwards, that they would come out fiery, and they did. But, you know, turnovers will deflate a lot of things. So 1st and 10, handoff up the middle to Richie Anderson. And as Bill Parcells told us last night, I still like to run the fullback. And you almost put the jersey on when he said that.
I almost fell out of my chair. We've done a few games this year where we don't even see a fullback on the field. And to hear somebody say they're actually going to hand him the ball, I was like, hey, that's awesome. There's a change of pace.
Here's Sean Payton, speaking of change of pace, who went over from the Giants as their assistant coach to the assistant head coach at quarterbacks. And I think he's going to learn a lot under Bill Parcells. He's going to learn how to win under him, that's for sure. Here is Troy Hambrick back in the lineup, and he dives toward midfield, about 1.5 yards short of the sticks. And the 7th straight running play engineered by the Cowboys, that time Marvin Jones in on the play. So when you said taking time off the clock, that's exactly what Bill Parcells is doing.
If the Jets are not careful here and they don't start to get this defense playing with a little bit of emotion right there, there is absolutely nobody out there that looks like they want to make a play at this point. If they continue to play like this, they're only going to get about 3, maybe 4 opportunities to get the football in this half, which would mean they would have to be nearly perfect in their offensive possessions to get back in this game.
3rd down and 2. And Hambrick. And there is a big effort by the defense as Hambrick trying to go outside, but Dwayne Robertson and Jason Ferguson knock him back for no gain on the play, forcing the Cowboys to punt. So let's see if the Jets can build on a big 3rd and short defensive play as they trail by 11.
And we saw statistically the graphic in the second quarter. That was the quarter that the Jets have really struggled in. Well, this is the half that the Cowboys have really struggled in. So it'll be interesting to see if this Jet team can really wear them down. That's the combination of pumping the ball to Curtis Martin. You're going to get those guys fatigued into the second half.
Santana Moss to receive the punt from Toby Goen. And the fair catch by Moss inside the 5, and you let that ball drop. You never field it inside the 10. Moss did, and the Jets have a long way to go.
Santana Moss has got to know where he is on the field of play. That's the 10-yard line. If you're drifting back, once you get to right about there, the 8-yard line, you don't make that catch. Dick, you're absolutely right. You do not field the ball at the 5-yard line and call fair catch.
That's bad execution, and now the Jets starting from the 5, and Curtis Martin going out of bounds after picking up 2 yards. So remember last week against New England, all the Jets talk about was the lack of execution. Corbett going out of bounds, the dropped interceptions, all of those mistakes. Well, they're making the mistakes again today, and that seems to be the thing that's holding this club up.
More than anything else, they're really hurting themselves during the course of these games, this 3-game losing streak. A lot of the things that are going wrong are within their control.
There's a flag down, however.
Holding, 97 defense. We'll add 5 yards to the end of the run. First down.
And the Jets get a break there. Leroy Glover called for holding at the end of the play, and that's a penalty that Bill Parcells will go crazy over, I would think. And the Jets now will have a first down at the 12-yard line. Bill Parcells has a history of not letting teams off the hook. Pitch to Martin. And Martin doesn't get much trying to test the left side. He has already exceeded the most carries he's had this year, picking up 2 yards on the play. Martin now with his 17th carry, tackled by Willie Blade, and it'll be 2nd and long.
Some people at home watching the broadcast may be saying, well, how can you have defensive holding on a running play? That doesn't seem possible. What happens is it's a point of emphasis this year in the NFL. They're not allowing the defensive linemen to grab linemen and prevent on the offensive side from getting to the next level. So what Leroy Glover did is he held 2 guys and prevented the guy who was trying to do a combination block from getting off him and getting to the linebacker level.
2nd and call it 9, and Lamont Jordan will get the carry, and Jordan brought down at the 15-yard line, and this crowd right now is as passive as the Jets are. Al Singleton making the tackle and a 1-yard pickup.
You hear the boos starting to come out from the Jet fans. Their really only productive drive was that opening drive of the game when all that emotion. You saw Kevin Mawai trying to get his team ready. Since that, they have not done a whole lot. You see the 2 turnovers and also 2 punts. So for a team that's supposedly on the brink, and now we're going to have an illegal substitution because they had 12 guys in the huddle. This is unbelievable.
Illegal substitution. Offense, 12 men in the huddle. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
Well, you don't want to go 0-4, but it's a lot of it is how you lose a game. And if the New York Jets continue to play in this style and go 0-4, people are really going to get on them, and as well deserved, and maybe more so by their owner Woody Johnson, because this club is underproducing in a big way.
Well, last year they were 1-4 at the start, and they were getting blown out of football games and putting Chad Pennington and revitalize the offense, but they don't have any tricks like that this year. But the problem is different. They're shooting themselves in the foot when they're losing this year. It's not that they're getting outplayed and beat up on the field.
3rd down, 13, with 8:20 to go in the 3rd. Testaverde with a screen pass to Curtis Martin over the middle. Martin will be short of the 1st down. However, he is tackled by Dat Wynn. So it's 4th down, and so the Jets don't get the 1st down. The crowd very upset with the Jets' performance right here, and it's 4th and 2. And the punting situation coming up, and the Cowboys may have good field position.
I just don't see a sense of urgency from the Jet football team right now. Offensively, defensively, special teams.
Dan Straczynski will kick it, and Zuriel Smith to return. Smith is hit, and it's a free ball, and the Cowboys pick it up, and there's a flag. Now the question is, was Smith given enough room to make the catch? And if he wasn't, that penalty will go against the Dallas Cowboys. Michael Bates was the player, and we've seen him on coverage, who stormed into Zuriel Smith. He has to be given enough room to make the play.
Interference with the opportunity, number 20 of the kicking team. Will be a 15-yard penalty. 1st down.
Zuriel Smith does not signal for a fair catch, but you still got to give him a chance to catch the punt.
Another careless play by the Jets. I've lost count. And the biggest problem that the Jets face this year is the fact that Chad Pennington, who had a great finish, I mean, this club went to the 2nd round of the playoffs, is out with a broken bone in his left wrist, not expected back before November the 2nd at the earliest.
And if the Jets continue to play the way that they are playing today and have played the last 3 weeks, there's not going to be much of a chance for him to salvage anything this year.
Cowboys on their own 49 after the penalty on Bates. Troy Hambrick diving into Jet territory. And beginning Tuesday, baseball's postseason begins as Fox brings you the Cubs. Yes, the Cubs in the playoffs. Cena pitching the 1st game. I believe he's 20-2 lifetime against the Twins. Who do you like in that 1st game?
Gotta go Yankees.
Loaded question.
I'll go with the Cubs. I'll go against history.
2nd down and 5 at the 46, and play action for Carter. And Carter gets hit as he throws. It'll be an incompleted pass, as Bernie Kukar indicates that he was in the act of throwing the ball. Chester McLaughlin coming in.
Chester McLaughlin continuing to work upfield. You see right there, he gets his big hand on Quincy Carter as the ball is moving forward. So he'd already initiated his throwing motion. It's coming forward. There's Chester McLaughlin with his hand right on his elbow.
Well, the Cowboys looking to throw on first down as you look at the veteran McLaughlin on the sideline. On their last series, they ran the ball on first down, did not pass exclusively. 3rd and 5 for the Cowboys in Jet territory. Chase from the pocket is Quincy Carter. Carter is going to go deep for Glenn in the end zone, and the pass may be picked off, and it is. The Jets get it back. Sam Garnes, who dropped an interception last week against the Patriots, picks it off in the end zone, and all of a sudden the Jets have something to cheer about, and they'll get it back on the 20-yard line. Glenn, the intended receiver, and Garnes had a beat on it all the way. Dick Stockton, Darrell Johnston, Chris Myers here at the Meadowlands. The Dallas Cowboys trying to go 2-1 on the year, and the Jets 0-3 looking for their first victory and looking for a touchdown, something that has been hard for them to achieve this year. Getting the ball back on the interception by Garnes, first down on the 20, and the slant play is caught at the 26 by Santana Moss, picking up 6.
We talked about the lack of a sense of urgency from the Jet football team all across the board. Let's see if this offense comes out now and takes a play that Sam Garnes had an opportunity to make last week. He didn't finish the play. He does today. Let's see if that is something that can spark this football team to get a good drive put together.
Meanwhile, the Dallas defense has been terrific all afternoon and forcing turnovers in their own territory. Hand off to Curtis Martin, trying to cut upfield, and Martin will be short by about 1.5 yards, thanks to Al Singleton, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer at linebacker for the Cowboys.
Willie Blade is actually the guy who makes the play on this, number 99 right there. He gets upfield right away, pushes Kevin Mawai back, forces Curtis Martin to cut back, and then there's the pursuit of Al Singleton, number 51, working down the line of scrimmage.
Willie Blade did not play last 2 years with injuries. He was inactive in week 1, started his only NFL game here in week 2 in the game against the Giants.
I think he's going to be the player that benefits the most from Coach Parcells coming to Dallas.
3rd and 1, and Vinny Testaverde calls a timeout. And we'll take a break with 5:22 on the clock here in the 3rd quarter. Metropolitan area, the rain on and off, and right now it is dry as the Jets calling a timeout with 3rd down and 1. Lamont Jordan is the tailback. Curtis Martin on the sidelines and freezing the linebackers, completing the pass to Chris Baker, the 2nd string tight end, and the Jets get a first down just short of midfield, so a 19-yard pickup. So the timeout was well served, Moose.
Well, there's a good play call by Paul Hackett right there. 3rd and 1. Here's Chris Baker right here. He gets knocked around a little bit, but he doesn't give up on the route. Nice little shove there on Dexter Coakley. Now you see why he was so open, but they had the flat receiver covered. They had the deep guy covered. As Chris Baker doesn't get out there, Vinny Testaverde has nowhere to go with the ball.
So first down for the Jets on their 48-yard line, trailing 14-3. Another play action play, and Testaverde completes the pass to Curtis Conway at the 39-yard line, and another Jet first down. Terrence Newman on the coverage, so they get 13 more.
Watch Curtis Conway continue to work up the field. He gets Terrence Newman to run. He does a good job of getting out of the break. Jay Novacek, a guy that ran some of the best routes I've ever seen, said it's not important. It's not as important as how fast you run as it is how fast you stop. Curtis Conway does a great job of stopping and getting out of his break.
Dropped a pass last week against the Patriots, and everyone on the Jets seemingly trying to make amends in this game. It'll be a first down on the 39, and here's another play-action pass. Gerald Soule makes the catch, but only back to the original line of scrimmage, and no gain on the play with that win in pursuit at linebacker.
The big thing that Herman Edwards talked about, and also Ted Cottrell, was the team was pressing. You know, they were 0-2 going into the Patriot game last week. They weren't only doing their job, they were trying to do more than that to try and make something big happen. And when you do that, you get out of position, the ball finds its way back to the open lane, or you're just not reacting to the play, you're dropping some things. So right now, maybe in the first half also today they were pressing, but they seem very relaxed now since Sam Garnes made that interception.
He did get 1 yard on the play, 2nd and 9. Keep it on the ground to Curtis Martin, and Martin drives inside the 35-yard line to the 34. Dexter Coakley on the tackle with under 3.5 minutes to play in the 3rd. The game was 4, and the Jets don't need to be in any rush here because it's 14-3. They're within 2 scores of this game. Testaverde with 11 of 16 completions, 144 yards. And he has not made a mistake. Jets with 2 turnovers, both as a result of fumbles. 3rd down, 5 on the 34. And the pass to Santana Moss, and Moss gets the first down as he's tackled at the 26-yard line by Pete Hunter, the nickel back. So once again, the Jets convert on 3rd down on this drive.
We talk about Curtis Martin as a runner. Look at the protection right there. Does a good job of eliminating the distance between he and the blitzing linebacker. Get up into the middle where you can use the other big bodies up there to help you to get an advantage. Santana Moss goes in motion, loses Terrence Newman as he comes back across the middle.
And a 9-yard pickup, so relying more on the pass than the run are the Jets, and that's what most teams have done against the Cowboys in the first 2 games. They have thrown on them, and here it's a running play to Curtis Martin, but the Cowboys are there, and no gain thanks to Ebenezer Ekubon of the Dallas Cowboys. And Moose, as we get close to 2 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, and Testaverde on a hot streak, the big question is, can the Dallas defense hold up as this game moves into the 4th quarter? That has been the big question.
That has been their downfall this year. The other one we're going to see pretty soon here, Mike Zimmer, the defensive coordinator, hoping they can, but can the New York Jets get something besides a field goal once they get down towards the red zone?
I'm tired of field goals, Herman Edwards said last week. Why he had one faked, and there is a screen. Curtis Martin to the 20-yard line. So now they're using everything in their play bag and getting 5 yards. Woodson on the tackle as the Jets get down to the 20.
Watch Curtis Martin. He's in the screen. That's where the play is going to, but he also has a protection responsibility. Look at him right there. He slows down a free rusher as he releases to the screen. If he doesn't do that, if he simply releases to the screen, Vinny Testaverde is not going to have time to get the ball, or he's going to get chased to a position where he can't find Curtis back into the screen element.
Now it's 3rd and 5, and the same story, a broken record. They've got to get a first down. Field goals, not what Herman Edwards is looking for, and so it'll be 3rd down and 5, and Testaverde's pass off the hands of Curtis Conway. He was open on the crossing pattern, and 4th down coming up, and the Jets are forced to go for 3. And we'll always look for a possible fake, by the way.
Well, Herman Edwards is pulling out all the stops the last few weeks. That ball, Curtis Conway's got to make that catch. It's 3rd and 5. Your team needs a play. It's 14-3, almost at the end of the 3rd quarter. You got to make that play.
And I say look for the fake only because Mike Westhoff is known for these trickery, but on the face of it, Doug Bryan attempting a 38-yard field goal. He will attempt the kick, and the kick is good. So the Jets get another 3-pointer, still looking for that elusive touchdown, but trailing Dallas 14-6. 14-6 with 44 seconds to play in the 3rd quarter, and the Jets get something going as you see the scoring drive. Testaverde on the mark, 6 for 7, and Doug Bryan now has connected on 8 of 9 field goal tries this season. Remember, they lost John Hall to the Redskins. Doug Bryan kicking off. Zuriel Smith starts across field and cuts up toward the middle. Flag is down. Penalty flag is down as Smith is tackled at the 23-yard line.
Curtis Conway going over to Chad Pennington. Did you see Chad Pennington's trying to calm him down? He had that opportunity to make a play on that 3rd and 5. He's probably being a little hard on himself right now. Chad gives him a little pat on the knee, says, hey, it's all right. We've got it down to a 1-possession game. Keep your head, stay focused, stay in the football game.
Illegal block in the back. Number 81 of the return team, green back, half the distance to the goal, first down.
And regardless of what they lose with his ability on the football field as a quarterback, I think that's more important because he's on the sideline. He doesn't have an opportunity to get the guys back refocused on the field. You love to see your guy when he's not in the lineup. He's out because of injury, but he is into the game. He's dying to get back on the field.
And he's doing his part. Sometimes when a team doesn't win, it's not because they're not trying or they've lost interest. It's that they're pressing and they're trying too hard to make something happen.
That has been their biggest problem over the last couple of weeks. They are trying to do too much. Just do your job. And if a mistake happens, don't beat yourself up too much. Get ready to play the next snap.
Meanwhile, the Cowboys, after the illegal block, starting from the 8-yard line, and up the middle goes Troy Hambrick. And Hambrick getting up toward the 14-yard line, stopped by Jason Ferguson after a pickup of 6.5. Hey, fantasy football players, listen up. Check out the Ultimate Fantasy Football Show exclusively on Fox Sports Net. With 30 minutes of injury reports, matchup breakdowns, and late-breaking news, our guys know who to play, who to sit, and who the hidden gems are. It's the Ultimate Fantasy Football Show, weekends only on Fox Sports Net. So log on to foxsports.com for the times in your area. And the clock runs down, and that is the end of the third quarter here at the Meadowlands in a one-possession game led by the Cowboys to the tune of 14-6 over the Jets. Fox NFL with a dive up the middle, picking up 9 yards. Very impressive, averaging nearly 6 yards a carry is Hambrick. Very impressive. 92 yards already in the game, and he picks up the first down.
I think the biggest thing for him is
you really miss another great big physical presence, especially over that big left side of the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think there's much of a fooling anybody here. You know where this ball is going to go. It's going to go behind Ogden.
Lewis back in the game, second down, ball at the 2. He lost his shoe, and Bowler throws into the end zone.
And here is Hambrick again, and Hambrick gets good yardage. So that may be the running back that he really needs. 8 yards on that carry, so 18 in the last 2. John McGraw made this last tackle.
And this is where the Cowboys want to run the football. They get Dan Campbell over to the left side with Flozell Adams, Larry Allen. You see him just moving the line of scrimmage. Look at the hole there that Troy Hambrick has to run through.
Because Fujita, number 51, the linebacker, basically tackles Todd Heap. That's, that's just about tackling.
Now first and goal at the 1.
You know your quarterback's got some elusive ability. He's going to run out of a shoe.
3 tight ends. Lewis in the backfield. It's Jamal Lewis. And he fires into the end zone.
Controlling the clock, the play selection in the second half for the Cowboys. 13 of the 15 plays from scrimmage have been on the ground.
But when you can start running the ball effectively in the second half, especially the fourth quarter, take time off that clock, keep the chains moving, eliminate the opportunities for the other offense to get on the field. That's Bill Parcells at his best, and he's done a great job up until this point in this half.
3rd and 4. Carter. And the pass intended for Galloway and knocked down. Galloway looking for a call. Aaron Beasley was all over him. Aaron Beasley in his second year, former member of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Chad Pennington fired up because now the Jets have a chance to get the ball back.
Well, everybody has a right to go for the football, and Aaron Beasley sees the slant. He's going for the interception. He has as much right to that football as Joey Galloway does, as long as he didn't interfere with him. That was on his path to go make the interception.
Good play by Beasley and forcing the Cowboys to punt. Toby going. And Santana Moss on the return looking for some running room, cuts inside and finally is buried at the 42-yard line. A 15-yard return following the kick, and the Jets with the ball trailing by 8.
Light. Great taste, less filling.
Got some big NFL appetites heading your way? Looks like you need the NFL deal from Pizza Hut and Pepsi. Order any large specialty pizza at regular price and you get a medium 1-topping pizza and a 2-liter of Pepsi for just $1.99 more. A Pizza Hut pizza and a Pepsi. Gather around the good stuff.
Introducing the all-new rotary-powered Mazda RX-8.
Jack?
The way you feel about sports cars will never be the same.
This October, a real American cowboy with a fake American fortune is taking the women of Europe for a ride.
He's worth about $80 million.
Would Fox lie to innocent foreign women who've never heard of Joe Millionaire? Oui, oui.
He's rich.
The next Joe Millionaire, an international affair, coming this October to Fox.
Well, the New York Jets trying to rally. They got a field goal on their last possession, trailing 14-6. And there's a guy decked out in a lot of Jets souvenirs. but his hands full. He wants a wait-and-see attitude, does that fan have, as the Jets with a first down on their own 43-yard line. Plenty of time just early here in the fourth. And the swing pass out to Anthony Beck with his first catch of the day and a minimal gain.
He has been very quiet today in the passing, and that's a guy that Chad Pennington came up with, drafted in the first round together. When you spend that much time together, you build that rapport between each other. When Vinny comes in, he's much better at progressing through everything. He spreads the ball around a little bit more. Interesting to try and find out who his favorite go-to guy would be out there.
8 for 9 in the second half for Testaverde, and here is Curtis Martin. And Martin is stuffed, bringing up third down and long, and now the crowd saying, what happened? Vinny was passing on the last series, and now you're keeping it on the ground, and the short pass to Beck, bringing up third and long. Darren Woodson and Kenyon Coleman brought down Curtis Martin.
Two very conservative play calls. The best drive they've had since their opening drive of the afternoon was last time when they were going vertically down the field.
Third down and 6. Jets with 3 wide receivers and Beck in motion. And on the design roll is Testaverde, and the pass, and it's going to be
what a catch
for a first down, and a great catch by Wayne Corbett, where the Cowboys were sure that he didn't hold on to it. And there's Pennington cheerleading from the sideline. They get 7 and move the chain.
Watch this. Wayne Corbett goes down to the ground. I don't know how he stumbled. Look at the extension right there. Gets his feet in.
Look at his feet.
That's a clinic reel right there. That's a clinic reel.
And some people will say he drug his feet, but that's not a word. He dragged his feet. So when they say you got to drug those feet, that's not correct.
I would never challenge you on anything to do with grammar.
Hey, you were the valedictorian.
I think we got a challenge here. Bill Parcells maybe thinking that the ground helped to establish the possession on that catch, because Wayne Corbett's arms are so fully extended. You see the extension right there. Is the ground enabling him to get the possession?
Challenging the ruling on the field of a completed catch.
And also, we have to see whether he maintained possession after he hit the ground.
The big thing is to see if the football moves when it hits the ground, because it looks as though he's got it secured. Now, the ball is going to hit the ground, but it didn't help him enable the possession. It's going to hit the ground.
I don't know about that. It bounced up, didn't it?
It did bounce at the end.
Well, I think you have to show that if you were on the field of play and you were to catch it and it would bounce up, it would be an incompleted pass. So I don't know. If you have a passion for the arts, the Lincoln Center is for you. And the question is, did Wayne Corbett hold on to it on that artistic catch on the sideline? And it was challenged and very close because the ball seemed to bounce. The question is, did it bounce and still be in the possession of Wayne Corbett? How does 2 feet in? No question about it. But what about this?
Do his hands get underneath the football? Are his hands the buffer between the ground and the ball? And I don't know. I think they're going to leave the way the play was called in real time on this one.
Ernie Kukar about ready to take off the headset and come back and give us a decision. A big one for Herman Edwards, because that would be a first down for the Jets at the 46.
After reviewing the play, the receiver had both feet in, had possession of the ball until he hit the ground. The ball rolled, therefore it's an incomplete pass. It will be 4th down and 6.
You got the impression
7-yard line of the Jets.
that it was a completed pass.
11:18 on the clock, please.
I just felt that you couldn't tell if he got his hands between the ball and the ground. So in that situation, the play should stand the way it was called on field. But they felt with that ball moving, the amount it did it coming back up to him, that he didn't maintain possession all the way through the catch onto the ground.
Yeah, I agree with you. And if this were, as you see, Zuriel Smith going back, in the field of play, they might have ruled it incomplete for that very same reason, because of the bounce. So Bill Parcells.
And the big question, he's out of bounds because he's trying to establish the catch.
Yes.
So
it was a valiant play by Corbett to at least try to make that catch.
It was a tremendous effort.
So Dan Straczynski will punt it away, and Zuriel Smith will let it bounce at the 5-yard line, and the Jets are going to down it inside the 5 or at the 5. So they're going to force Quincy Carter with his back to the wall, and here is Bill Parcells. I'm going to challenge this, and he won it. Fans, as the Dallas Cowboys start from the 5-yard line, leading the Jets 14-6. Can they hold on? And here's Quincy Carter out of the backfield, Richie Anderson. And Anderson breaks a tackle and gets up to the 12-yard line for a pickup of 6. For a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, Detroit continue to battle back. Take a look here. Denver's got the blitz on. Joey Harrington burns him, hooking up with Scotty Anderson, 43 yards to pay dirt. That made it 17-16, but Detroit botched the point after, so they're trailing by 1, 17-16. You see it there. There's still a lot of time remaining, 13-29 in the fourth. Back to Dick Stockton.
Giving the Broncos more than they bargained for. Troy Hambrick running, so in the second half, the Dallas Cowboys keeping the ball on the ground with 14 running plays and only 3 passing plays, trying to chew up as much time as possible. You see that Detroit-Denver score in the fourth quarter. Plenty of time in that one. A lot of time in this one.
I can't believe the teams are having so much trouble converting point after touchdowns this season. I mean, we've seen the Carolina Panthers block one that would have won a football game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I guess, you know, it's not automatic anymore. We've seen so many special teams miscues over the last 2 seasons.
And a lot on the snaps and on the hold. 3rd down and 1. And they're going to throw on 3rd and 1. Plenty of time. And the pass caught by Richie Anderson for the first down out to the 34. A 20-yard pickup to number 20 with Beasley on the coverage, and the Cowboys get out of danger.
Richie Anderson may be a fullback, but I think he poses a really tough situation for the defense and what you want to do against coverage with him. He's a great route runner. He has the speed to get deep down the field. You see right there, he's into that second level in front of Aaron Beasley. And I tell you, every time the Cowboys have needed a big play coming off their end zone, you've seen him go to Richie Anderson twice. They're a big 3rd down and 1 to keep the clock moving. They go to Richie Anderson. He's become a real focal point in the offense this afternoon.
83 total yards for Anderson. First down for the Cowboys. And the pass thrown underneath to Hambrick, who is tackled at the 40-yard line for a gain of 6 yards. Sam Coward in on the tackle. So Hambrick with his 3rd career 100-yard game. Of course, he can't take any more losses. Otherwise, he's going to have to go back to that drawing board. He had 100, went back to 98, now back up to the century mark once more. And he has scored one of the 2 touchdowns for the Cowboys today. Second and 4, and right up the middle goes Hambrick again. He has been a workhorse for the first down, and now the Jets have to be concerned and not letting the Dallas Cowboys run this clock down. It's at 8:15 at this point.
Here's where they want to go. They want to go behind these 2 guys right here, Flozell Adams and Larry Allen. And they're just moving guys. Here comes Dan Campbell from the fullback spot to help him. Sam Coward gets caught up in the wash. He doesn't get a hit on Troy Hambrick till he's 5 yards downfield.
107 yards for Hambrick. First down on the Dallas 47. Cowboys in front 14-6. Trying to hold on here in the fourth quarter and go 2-1. And they give the ball to Hambrick again, wraps it up, and it gets just into Jet territory for a pickup of 4. Jets took a 3-0 lead on their first possession on a Doug Bryan field goal. And the Cowboys taking advantage of a couple of Jet turnovers. Taking a 14-3 lead. Doug Bryan's field goal bringing the Jets back. And time starting to become a factor considering how Dallas is controlling the ball. And here is Quincy Carter drilling it up the middle. And the pass caught by Joey Galloway inside the 10-yard line. Great throw by Carter in stride. Galloway for 42 yards with Ray Mickens on the coverage.
Oh, you talked about how they've been running the ball predominantly this half, 12-3 before this drive started, but all the big plays on this drive have come through the passing game. Watch John McGraw. Watch how close he is to making a play. He's 1 step away from being able to knock that ball down. Quincy Carter, since the end of the first half, that last drive going in at halftime, has played some very, very good football. He is throwing the ball extremely well.
And that massive offensive line doing a tremendous job to give Carter the time to get rid of a long pass. First and goal at the 7. And here is Hambrick cutting inside down to the 3-yard line. maybe the 2. Troy Hambrick. Stopped by Abraham. So Hambrick has gone over 100 yards, and so is Joey Galloway, who has 5 catches for 100 yards. As the Dallas Cowboys looking to get a very huge score here as the clock runs under 6 minutes to go. That's Galloway's achievement.
All the big plays in Dallas's passing game today have come off of play action, and that's because of the success that they've had running Troy Hambrick and Avion Kaysen into that defensive front of the New York Jets.
2nd and goal at the 2. 3 tight ends, and here's Carter.
Throw it away.
He heard you from up here. He had no one to go to. Mo Lewis putting some heat on Carter, and it'll be 3rd and goal.
They just get so nervous in those points. The quarterbacks, they're so confident in their abilities. They get outside the pocket and they're just waiting for somebody to get open. All of a sudden, they find themselves in a position where they can't get rid of it. They take a sack, and they put the team in such an awkward position. And Quincy Carter is really becoming a student of the game. The more he studies film, the more he recognizes the situation. He's reacting to things instead of having to think about what to do.
Carter 4 for 5 for 75 yards, and they spread it out with the 3 wide receivers. 3rd and goal at the 2, and it's going to be the bootleg, and a great play made by Sam Cowart as he tackles Quincy Carter for a loss back to the 9-yard line. And a loss of 6 yards, bringing up 4th down.
Sam Cowart doesn't bite on the fake to Richie Anderson in the middle. He's there in time to get Quincy Carter. One more step, and I think Quincy might have been able to get around him. But his job on this play is to squeeze from the inside and maintain contain so nothing comes around him.
So 4th down, and Billy Cundiff will attempt a 21-yard field goal. Cundiff tying the NFL record with 7 field goals last game against the Giants. This will be 26 yards, and Billy Cundiff with the kick is good. So the 7 field goals to tie the record, and this one to give the Cowboys the 11-point lead again at 17-6.
Well, Rich Gannon took his time at the line of scrimmage. You see him working the right side of the field. Did you see Rich look everybody off? A good look at a quarterback working the right side. See him? Working the right.
A chance worth taking.
What is the point?
Quidditch.
Been good enough.
The chief of police.
It's about disciplined investing. Not everything that.
Looking in the Cowboys, who hired Bill Parcells, and so far that relationship has worked out pretty well, Bruce.
I think it came together at the right time in both their careers. I don't know if 5 years ago it would have been a relationship that would have the success that I think it's going to have because of the stations and the situations that they were both in at that time.
And the kick by Cundiff going into the end zone and returned by Michael Bates. And Bates trying to generate something for the Jets, and he does as he brings it out close to the 40-yard line where Tony Dixon drives him out of bounds. Well, next week, Fox's Sunday doubleheader begins with America's #1 pregame show. It is the best you'll find. Here you see Redskins, Eagles. Preceding that one will be the Cowboys and the Cardinals. Coverage begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. The biggest stories are in the NFC, and the NFC is on Fox. Wins by the Redskins and the Eagles today, and the Cowboys want to follow suit. The Giants with their bye week at 2-1. So it could be a big day for the NFC East. First down at the 39, Vinny Testaverde finds the open receiver, but the one-handed attempt by Corbett goes for naught. And it'll be second down. And you know, it's 17-6. It's a 2-possession game as Chad Pennington listens to some soft music on the sideline, but the way the Jets are going, I mean, how can you expect them in that time to get 2 scores? They haven't even gotten a touchdown today.
They haven't scored many touchdowns all season. That has been one of their areas that they've really struggled in. They seem like a team that they got to start taking shots to the end zone from beyond the red zone, because when they get in there, for some reason, nothing is working offensively for them.
2nd and 6, and the pass thrown underneath to Curtis Martin, and Martin dives into Cowboy territory to the 47 and a first down. And let's check in with Chris Myers.
Dick, you and Darryl were talking about Jerry Jones moments ago. The Cowboys are so confident in Quincy Carter, not only his teammates, but all the way at the top of the organization. As much as, or as recently as a month ago, Jerry was talking with Drew Henson's father. He's the former Michigan quarterback, property of the Yankees, and about possibly acquiring him from the Houston Texans. And at this point, Jerry said, we're not interested anymore. We're confident in the play of all of our quarterbacks. Quincy Carter, not only the quarterback of the future, but as we're seeing today, he's the quarterback of the present.
He certainly is, Chris. And of course, as the Jets get another first down at the 34, Bill Parcells still needs some convincing. He wants to see what Quincy Carter does in a big moment of adversity in a game and how he comes back from that. First down at the 34, and Vinny Testaverde finds Gerald Soule as fullback, and Soule is tackled down hard by Roy Williams, who's made some big hits today, but not before the Jets chalk up 17 yards, and they have a first down. 3.5 minutes to go. The Jets have 2 timeouts remaining and need 2 scores to get back in this. From the 17, Gerald Soule will go out of bounds to stop the clock after a pickup of 2.
I tell you, you rush 3 guys, you drop 8 people in protection. Vinny Testaverde is doing a good job of taking what the defense is giving him. He's dumping the ball off short. These guys are turning and getting upfield. Gerald Soule gets out of bounds right there.
And Vinny Testaverde has passed another great passer. It was Johnny Unitas last week. This is for career completions. He passed Unitas for the yardage area, and Dan Fouts for the completion total. 2nd and 8. And again going underneath to Wayne Corbett, who is hit hard at the 11-yard line by Roy Williams. Roy Williams forcing one of the Jet fumbles earlier and making crunching hits all afternoon.
I tell you, when Roy Williams hits somebody, they always go to the ground. I mean, he runs through people, takes them to the ground. It's never a stalemate or where he goes backwards. The other guy is always going the other direction.
3rd down and 5, and a whistle. And false start penalty will be marked off against the Jets. Today's game is being produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman.
69 offense.
And an outstanding job by our technical and productive crew. The associate director, Charles McDonald. The broadcast associates, Wayne Wilson and Michael Peoples. The technical producer is Bob Muller. The pregame show was produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons. The senior producer is Bill Brown. And the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. And thanks to our spotter, Chris Visser, Rick Odioso on stats, and Mike Eldridge and Charlie Dameyer also working with the numbers. 3rd down and 10. And Testaverde dumps it off to Curtis Martin, who gets to the 10-yard line, short of the first down by a couple. And they have 4th down coming up, needing 2 scores. That win making the tackle, saving the first down.
Got to take the field goal.
And the timeout, so we're going to discuss it, or at least Herm Edwards will.
There's no decision. You got to send the field goal team out and give yourself a chance to either kick it deep and force a defensive stop. But I don't know if you want to do that the way Dallas has played the second half offensively, or onside kick it and go down and give yourself the chance to tie the game with the second possession in the 2-point play.
Well, if you do not get the touchdown, if you go for a touchdown, the game is over.
Exactly. You've just you're never going to get 2 more opportunities. There's no thinking involved in this one. The field goal team should be on their way. This will send a bad message. This will send the message that you don't have the confidence in us to get back down the field again. So we have to score the touchdown here so we don't have to go as far on our next possession and we can kick the field goal then. I don't agree with this.
So it's going to be 4th down and 2 yards, and they're going for the 6.
Hopefully they're going to try and draw them off sides, because if they snap this ball, I don't agree with it.
And they're going to run the play, and the pass is caught by Corbett, and they don't get the first down. And the Cowboys take over on downs. Pete Hunter, the nickelback, makes the big play, and a lot of the fans say, I've seen enough, who are wearing the green of the New York Jets. I agree with you 100%, Darryl. You got to get the short points. You stay in the game. If you don't get the touchdown, you're out of the game. And of all things, it was a pattern out to the right. It wasn't even upfield.
The field goal team should have been running on when they stopped them short on 3rd down. There's no reason for this play call. Pete Hunter comes up, makes a short tackle. Wayne Corbet's got his back turned. It's a little flat pass with his back turned to the defender. He doesn't even know what's coming, what's there.
And an unfortunate play call right here, and the decision is to get the 3, and you're still alive in the game. Who knows what happens once you kick off?
If you're going to run that play, Wayne Corbett has got to get the distance for the first down, so if he catches it and gets hit immediately like he did there, they've got a first down.
From the 9-yard line, there's Hambrick churning up some more yards. Want to remind you, coming up on the SBC postgame report, time permitting, JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats. Timeout called by the Jets. That is their 3rd and final timeout. Time's running out for them.
Recently, Castrol Syntec was tested against every leading brand of conventional 5W30 motor oil. It was a punishing comparison, under extreme heat and stress, beyond anything a car would ever face.
Bob, what are the readings on the other car?
In the end, under these grueling conditions, Castrol Syntec simply performed better. Castrol Syntec. Everything else is just motor oil.
And the Jets using their 3rd timeout. 2:21 remaining in the 4th quarter. And there's Troy Hambrick bullying his way up to the 20. Has a first down. And that should do it for the Jets, although they will have a clock stoppage. And you see the little fist pump by Bill Parcells, not making a big show of it, but he's got to feel very good about his team. Terrific defense, and more than anything, held up through 4 quarters. 2-minute warning here at the Meadowlands, with the Cowboys on their way to a win, 17-6.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by SBC. Ordinary people, extraordinary jobs.
Mr. Watson, come here. I want to see you.
2 years after the telephone was invented, a telephone company was born. 125 years of sweat, of building networks, of getting the job done. After 125 years, we are just getting started. Looking back, moving forward. SBC.
So I got tickets to the game tomorrow night. I wasn't sure if you wanted to go.
Well, it doesn't sound like you want me to go.
What? Of course I want you to go. I just thought maybe, you know, with the crowd and all that.
You'd probably have a better time with Gary.
Gary? No.
Why don't you ask Gary? And we'll hook up on Saturday.
Okay, if you're sure.
I'm sure.
Okay, bye-bye. You're in.
Yes! I'm out! Let's go dancing.
The Ford Expedition. Yeah, it's got amazing maneuverability on and off-road. But with exclusive PowerFold 3rd-row seating, you should see how it handles your life. If you haven't looked at Ford lately, look again.
Things Quincy Carter has done today, and this is a team that emphasized the run in the second half with the lead. The bullet downfield, 43 yards to Joey Galloway, was the one that really broke the backs of the New York Jets. And you know, I kind of wonder here as if this isn't the worst loss of the year for the Jets. They have lost some tough game in Moose, so you have some fans here because your number 48 is still worn proudly by many of the fans. But here's a team that did not execute well at all, and then a coaching decision at the end is going to be questioned. And right now, James Brown has an update. Let's go to JB.
Hey, Dick, does this not since '96? Back to Dick Stockton.
All right, thank you very much, JB. And the Detroit Lions and the Denver Broncos still have about 7 minutes to go in their game, in a one-point game, and time permitting, we're going to send you there for bonus coverage of a big day of football.
And the New York Jets going into the bye week will be 0-4. And that is an incredible hurdle. And the way that they lost today is going to weigh heavily on this club, Moose.
Well, very similar to what happened last week against New England. There were some plays to be made. They were just inconsistent at times. They're still struggling in the red zone. Defensively, the Dallas Cowboys over 200 yards rushing, so that's an area that they've had problems with all season. They've got a lot of areas to fix, so this could be a very long season before Chad Pennington even gets back to try and help this organization out.
Herm Edwards coming out to shake hands with Bill Parcells, another successful homecoming for the Tuna, who is 2-0 in 3 weeks at the Meadowlands, beat the Giants, and now comes back 13 days later and is the victor. Yep, never too soon for the Gatorade as the Dallas Cowboys beat the New York Jets 17-6. The Cowboys now 2-1 on the year, and the Jets fall to 0-4, and the Cowboys may be on their way. So this is Dick Stockton for Darryl Johnston and Chris Myers. So long from the Meadowlands. Right now, bonus coverage of the Lions and the Broncos. Right now, let's join Sam Rosen and Bill Moss for the conclusion of that game. So long, everybody.
Take it out of bounds. We welcome those of you who watched the Dallas Jets game. Dallas defeating
They seal it right here. Bowler picked off for the second time. Knocking out the Ravens today. Back to Dick and Dan.
Kansas City Chiefs 4-0. Marty Schottenheimer said yesterday that Dick Vermeil called him this week and said, wished you luck. And he says, don't want to, change the mood here. I'm trying to go 4-0. I've never done that, and you were the last to accomplish that in Kansas City.
How much would the Chargers like to have that timeout they had to waste because they had 12 men on the field on a field goal attempt?
But Dan, you can well appreciate with all the injuries, they probably have men on special teams that haven't been there all year long, and everyone trying to chip in, and one too many. From the 45, 1:09 left. With the momentum that the Raiders have, that was big for San Diego that they won the toss. We'll see what they do when we come back to Oakland.
Friday Night Lights, turn it on. Turn it on. Turn it on. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. Get a dog to the house. Get a dog to the house. What time is it?
Terrell Owens, star of T.O. Dogs Dallas and the feel-good dance best, Pom Pom. You watched him rewrite the rule book in Sharpie and hung 10 with his thrilling island antics in Hawaii T.O. Now appearing in his most lucrative adventure yet, Contract Year. Fox NFL Sunday doubleheader next week, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific.
On this ship, something terrible is about to happen.
Those police boats?
To overtime we go. First time for each of these two teams. LaDainian Tomlinson, they're working on his lower leg, a workhorse of the Chargers, and it was last year right here in the Coliseum that in overtime, Tomlinson, this 19-yard touchdown run gave the Chargers a 27-21 win over the Raiders.
Well, LaDainian told us that last week he tweaked his groin in last week's game, that it hurt a little bit. You notice when a guy goes over to have the doctors look at him, but he's holding on to his helmet, that's the guy that's going back in the game. He's
by Plummer, steps up, throws to Mike Anderson out of the backfield. Big gainer for Anderson, down to the 23-yard line. Dre Bly tripped him up, but the Broncos move into scoring position.
Take a look at Jake Plummer.
Over his own man and gets it out to about the 23. Of course, Sunday night always begins with 60 Minutes, and then the premiere of an outstanding new show here on CBS, Cold Case, and then the movie stars Tom Selleck, 12 Mile Road, on CBS, America's most watched network. Right after the conclusion of this overtime tussle between these long-standing AFC, AFL rivals.
Well, it looked going into this game, as depleted as the Chargers were, that they had to walk that 12-mile road to get anywhere close to a victory, and that they're in overtime with the Raiders in Oakland. It's a shock to everybody except maybe to that guy.
Been a remarkable job of coaching. Jesse Chapman is the running back, not Tomlinson. It's close to a first down at the 47 before Quentin Jammer can drag him down.
Here we are in this situation in overtime, and I know the Raiders offense has struggled, but Rich Gannon in control right now. And what a great job of selling a run block first by Doug Jolly, and then coming off and becoming a receiver. No way a defense isn't going to lose track of you when you sell run like that. But look at the experience.
Harrington looking, throwing for Rodgers, broke it up. Lenny Wall.
Now Wheatley, and he has enough for the first down. Needed only a yard.
This is where that experience is supposed to really pay dividends.
Both teams exhausted at the pace of this game. Tied at 31, 8 minutes and 15 seconds left in overtime. And unlike the shortened distance available to Marty Schottenheimer on a field goal, the Raiders have one of the longest legs in the league in Janikowski. 50 yards well in his range. So the 35-yard line is one of the goals of this Raider drive. Gannon wide open again. Jolly. Jammer with a good tackle. Denies forward progress, but it's still a 6-yard gain on first down.
That's all you need. Just little chunks at a time. But on first down, to pick up that kind of yardage is such a luxury in this situation. Now the Raiders are pretty much in a position they can do whatever they want to do offensively here at 2nd and 4.
3 wides and Garner. First down at the 35-yard line, and they are in field goal range now.
Well, the Chargers come with the blitz. You see there's the blitz up the middle. Tim Brown breaks off his pattern. Veteran quarterback finds a veteran receiver that saw the blitz, changed his pattern, and became a short target for his quarterback. I know it doesn't seem like much, Dick, but how many times do you see a quarterback throw the ball out there and the guy's 20 yards downfield because he wasn't even aware there was a blitz?
Now that's the underlining the veteran qualities of this Oakland team. Wheatley pushes the pile for 3 on first down. Let's go to New York and Jim Nantz.
All right, backing up that win against the Raiders Monday night. It was a mighty struggle today for the Broncos, but they get the W. They had this magnificent touchdown catch by Ashley Lely, but they hold off the Lions 20-16 to remain undefeated. Let's go back to you.
All right, Jim. Kansas City and Denver both start the year 4-0 here in the West, and the Raiders trying to deny a 1-3 start. We're certainly in deep trouble late in the 4th quarter. But here they are in position to win it in overtime. Toss to Garner. Breaks a tackle. Oh, he runs hard. Doesn't get the first down. Tackle at the 28. Zeke Moreno and others for San Diego.
A new San.
A yard on this play and go for a field goal. It would be a 45-yard attempt.
Well, you'd love to get off that dirt. If I was going to have Seabass kick a field goal, I'd like him to be off that dirt. Tough to plant, and it's hard to get it done off of that.
Raiders to 2 touchdown drives in the final 6 minutes, and then this Janikowski 46-yard winner in overtime.
He hit that thing like he was kicking it off a tee. This thing would have been good from 15 more yards. He just drills that thing. And what a football game we just saw. Marty Schottenheimer has to be so proud of his Chargers football team and the way they fought today. But the Raiders did what they had to do. Hanging in there at 2-2, even though the Chiefs and the Broncos are way out in front. And all that hurts.
A painful loss for Schottenheimer. His team so close to what would have been just an amazing win today, shorthanded as they were. But Jerry Rice, Tim Brown, veteran Rich Gannon at quarterback, they found a way against this young San Diego defense. And full credit, full high marks for LaDainian Tomlinson, but not quite enough. Stay tuned. 60 Minutes, Cold Case, the premiere, 12 Mile Road, starring Tom Selleck, the movie, ahead.
All right, Sam, on Fox tonight, don't miss one of the biggest comedies